that much closer to the Super Bowl, to L.A., to the Los Angeles Rams against the Cincinnati Bengals. We got a whole cast of people coming into the house. I got Jeff Saturday, Sergeant Friday on this show. He's coming into the house. The lovely Kimberly Martin is coming into the house. Big Perk is in the house. We got some basketball stuff to talk about, and I got to tell you, you know it's bad when a brother, myself, picks up my phone and calls Big Perk at midnight. You know how bad it got to be if I'm calling him at midnight because we saw something in the NBA that we thought we would never see in this lifetime. All of that to talk about. By the way, Molly Q took the day off, left me hanging. I thought I was going to be alone. I thought I was in trouble. Then my girl Charlie showed up. And I said, you know something? I'm going to be all right. Molly will be back. You see the rotation, right? I'm good. I'm good. First takes in the house. Let's go.
One win away from a world title.
Yeah, let's go to work.
Matthew Stafford, a legitimate MVP candidate. He's got a mission to prove.
This is going to come down to Matthew Stafford's arm.
Joe Burrow is spectacular. He's not good. He's spectacular, and he's a leader.
Joe Burrow has changed the culture in Cincinnati.
Jamar Chase looks unstoppable.
You got Van Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Higbee, OBJ. I like what I'm seeing from Cincinnati.
Ain't nowhere in the world they're about to lose this football game.
L.A., SoFi, the home of the Super Bowl.
Let's go to work.
First hit.
Let's talk some NFL because, geez, we can only hope to see a better game Sunday than last night. A lot on the line for both the Bengals and the Rams, where both quarterback Matthew Stafford and head coach Sean McVay are both seeking redemption of some sort. McVay, after being outcoached in Super Bowl 53, and Stafford looking to prove all he needed was the right environment to win a ring after failing to even win a single playoff game in his 12 seasons with the Lions. A win on Sunday, and Stafford will rewrite his entire NFL career. He's ready for it.
These opportunities are what you play the game for. You know, I'm so lucky to be in this situation and being able to go out and battle one more time with this great group of guys that I have as teammates and coaches. You know, as far as pressure goes, I mean, we say it around here all the time. Pressure is a privilege. You know, that means, you know, something is expected of you, and we expect that of ourselves anyways.
I think you just said it perfectly. You know, you got to be able to adjust and adapt, but when you put it in your leader's hands, good things happen. I think Matthew's played his best ball as of late in those biggest moments. I think guys are playing well around him, and I love the way that we've responded from some adversity.
All right, and my people are here. Stephen A, you're my people, but...
Hold on.
Nah.
Oh, no, what?
It is always lovely to see Kimberly.
Yes, it
What's
is.
up, you?
What's up,
What's Sergeant Friday doing here? What's Jeff Saturday doing here? What's he doing here?
They bring me in to talk some sense into you, bro. Talk some sense into you. Absolutely.
Listen, you ain't
Big Perk tried to.
Big Perk. Listen,
Tried to.
Did you know that my name is really Stephen A. Smith? I mean, that's
wow.
my name. I mean, basketball. I mean, come on now. Come on now. Stephen A. Smith. That's what they call me, my brother. That's what they call me. And I got to come up with the appropriate name for myself with football as well. What's that? A-list that I throw out.
You ain't had an A-list all season, though.
Yes, I have.
Not all
yes,
season.
I have.
I think the best we gave you was like a B-.
No, you actually gave me an A one day.
Oh, one day. One day. You remember that one
It was
day.
like some faux list, bro. It was like some highlight list.
And
you kept throwing the Cowboys
You were flowing that one day. That one day.
He hates. It's all right. It's okay. He hates.
I mean, look, this is the complete A-list. We got Stephen A. Smith, Kimberly A. Martin, and you know you're an A in my book because you won a Super Bowl with the Colts.
Best day of
which
the
is my
week,
team,
brother.
Jeff Saturday. So,
There you go.
Stephen A., let's start with you here. Who is under more pressure in the Super Bowl? Is it Sean McVay or quarterback Matthew Stafford?
Matthew Stafford. It's Matthew Stafford, without question. It's Matthew Stafford, my
Already
brother.
started bad for Stephen A. Already started bad.
Here we go.
I'm right on point.
Oh, shoot.
Listen, Matthew Stafford, this dude is the boy wonder. Everybody's been talking about how great he is all these years.
Dan Orlovsky
Even though his
every
first
damn day.
12 years in the league. There you go. That's right. Say it if it's true, Charlie. Say it if it's true,
Speak
okay?
only the
So
truth.
listen, the bottom line is this. Matthew Stafford has had big-time moments, had a lot of game-winning drives, phenomenal numbers. We know what he brings to the table. His first 12 years in Detroit. Hadn't won a single playoff game. Not one. 0-3. First of all, that means you missed the playoffs 9 times, went to the playoffs 3 times, and then didn't win the game the 3 times you win the playoffs. But we continuously pointed to the Detroit Lions being a member of that organization, how that served as an impediment to his success. Fair enough. He comes to L.A., all right? What does he do? He beats Kyler Murray in Arizona. They weren't ready. DeAndre Hopkins being out didn't help matters. Then you go up against Tom Brady. Okay, you up 27-3. Gave up that damn 27-3 lead. Even though he delivered the goods, connecting the cup.
Okay. I like how you brought that back.
I didn't forget that. But the bottom line is, when you score on football, the other team gets the ball. Okay, which means that you had an opportunity to stop the bleeding, and Tom Brady almost took you out. 44-year-old Tom Brady. That's neither here nor there. Then you go against San Francisco and Jimmy Garoppolo. You handle your business. You can't go to your home turf, which is SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California, where you are now what you now call home, and lose to Joe Burrow. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Now,
you can't.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so for me, I'm looking at the way because Joe Burrow's a bad brother now. He's something special. He's a bad brother. He's something special. Okay? And Jamar Chase is something special. And we see what's going to happen with him and Jalen Ramsey. We're looking forward to that. But you Matthew Stafford, talking about Sean McVay or whatever. Yeah, you the coach, you here. They got to go out and play. And Matthew Stafford is his guy. You got the ball in your hand. You a veteran. You ain't no second-year player in your first full season like Zach Taylor's got with Joe Burrow. No, this is Matthew Stafford. You got to close the deal. There's no question about it.
Nope.
There's more pressure on him than Sean McVay.
No,
That's the question.
No, sir. Not even close. No, sir. No, sir. Sean McVay is, 35 years old? This is his second Super Bowl, right? 35. Second Super Bowl he's bringing his team to. Matthew Stafford, by the way, who you just talked about, the turnovers in Tampa Bay, how many were his fault? 0.
That's fair.
What did he do? He threw a bad ball to turnover. He dropped it. He ends up hitting OBJ the very next play.
Okay.
This dude is the hottest player in the playoffs this season.
Okay.
The hottest player, right? If you compare he and Burrow's stats, he's outperformed him in stats. Matthew Stafford's done everything you've asked him to do. Here's the issue with McVay. He had an offense that averaged over 30 points a game when he played the Patriots in the Super Bowl. You know how many he scored in the Super Bowl? 3. You know what he blames that on? Too much tinkering from his perspective. He needed to go let his kids play, let his players play, make the most of it. He did not. He did a poor job at it. Now,
he's outcoached.
Yeah, he's outcoached.
By Bill Belichick.
Yeah, by Bill Belichick.
Let's not act like it was somebody else.
I ain't done. Right. Zach Taylor worked with him and under him, correct?
Yes.
So how many times did it take for Bill Belichick to get, we talk about Saban and his assistants not beating him, Belichick and his assistants not beating him. Now Sean McVay has one of his assistants who has taken a team to the Super Bowl. Talk about pressure. Knows him well, been around him, knows how he's going to call games, what the things he's going to emphasize, all of those things. Sean McVay, it's time for him to show why he is the boy wonder, why he is the guy that everybody expects to make the right decisions, the right calls, put the right guys in the right position. Because when he had his opportunity last time, he didn't make the most of it, right? Now, with the point you just brought up, his players are at home. They're chilling right this week. They're staying at home. It's much more difficult for the Bengals to come all the way out to LA and get adjusted. Sean McVay, should I keep him at home? Should I put him at home? He's making all these decisions to keep his team in the best frame of mind to win this football game. He's got players who are going to play, right? He went out, and not just Stafford. He got OBJ midway through the season. Got Von Miller midway through the season, right? This is not a team that's only built around Stafford. This is a team that's built. They got the number 1 offensive line versus the pass rush, right? They have a lot of really talented players. If you go in with the team that is, quote, the better team, and they are the better team if you compare them apples to apples, team to team, you would say they're the better team, right?
Rams?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're the coach of that team, you better put them in. They better win.
Okay.
And they on one side.
So here's the interesting thing. Here's
you
the
don't want me to come
interesting
back
thing.
in. That's why you keep talking.
But I'm going to tell you what I think. The answer will be Matt Stafford. It should be Sean McVay.
Oh,
it should be Sean McVay, because somehow Sean McVay, as the genius that he's been touted to be, he has somehow allowed Jared Goff to be the scapegoat, like, oh, we were just one quarterback away. Like, had we not been able to have a good quarterback, we could have won the Super Bowl. They shipped him to Detroit. Now they have Matt Stafford. But they've had, whether it was Todd Gurley, they've had Aaron Donald, they've had Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller now, Odell Beckham, Cooper Kupp. They have a murderer's row of weapons. And here's the thing. The last time they were in the Super Bowl, like Jeff said, he got embarrassed. He was spending so much time he keying up with Belichick, like, oh, I really respect you. Like, I really love you here. And it's a pregame. And all Belichick was like, I got this guy. Because he's talking about how great I am. I know this kid is not ready for me. And what did that offense do? Nothing. I was at that Super Bowl. It was terrible.
So was I.
Me too.
Yes. And it was terrible offensively to watch. It was great to watch those defenses go at it. But offensively, if Sean McVay is called that baby genius, the next Belichick.
So did you hear how that happened? She pulled you in. You started giving your head that, and bam, she hit you with a Sean McVay.
I have an easy response to that. Hold on. I have an easy response to that.
Okay.
And it was
Real,
nice.
man.
It was nice. But it doesn't work, Kimberly. No. I mean, you talk about tap dancing like the late, great Gregory Hines. That's what you just did. That's what you just did. I mean, exactly. Absolutely. That's what you did.
I have to imagine, should the Rams lose this game, McVay will still be regarded as one of the most talented coaches in the league.
That's why
He's
Matthew
so
people
young,
will kill Matt Stafford.
Hold on.
I'm defending you right now.
That's what I'm saying. You
If
don't
Matthew
interrupt me
Stafford-
to go against me. You got to defend me strongly.
He is defending you.
You got to defend me
He is in
stronger
the
than
box.
that.
I'm
with
saying
you.
if Matthew Stafford loses, though, he continues the same narrative. It's his 13th year in the season. He's
That's
in the
what
league.
will
He said
happen.
all
But
his-
somebody should call out Sean McVay at some point with all this talent that he has.
Whoa.
At some point, but how many years has he been?
Hold on, Charlie. You, Kimberly.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
You slick stuff. Let me tell you something, okay? If Sean McVay shows up in the Super Bowl and it's that bad, I get what y'all talking about. But the question is about Stafford compared to McVay. Not Sean McVay on his own. We're not acting like he's devoid of pressure. We're not acting like he doesn't have something to prove, even though in his first 5 years in the NFL, he's not had one single losing season. He's been in the playoffs 4 times in 5 years, and this is his second Super Bowl appearance, so we can't sniff at that. But here's the big thing. Again, we talk about Jared Goff. What does he do when he goes to Detroit? They're 3-13-1 in his first season. We know it. Jared Goff ain't nothing to write home about. He ain't anything to write home about. So now we get back
All
to...
I'm saying is at this point, Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford have gotten the Rams to the same point.
Hold on,
Super Bowl. That's it.
Wait a minute. But in the same breath, we have to look at what you're going against. And this is what I'm talking to you about. Sean McVay can't get in the way. So Sunday comes, and he's tight like that. Y'all are right. My point is, wait a minute. If this man goes out there, here you go, Stafford. This game plan, take us to the promised land. You, Matthew Stafford. This is your 13th year in the league. I mean, you're considered one of the elite quarterbacks. You know people are talking about Matthew Stafford. He just needs to go to the right franchise because he's destined for the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Because numbers-wise, and in terms of his game-winning drives and what have you, this dude belongs to be mentioned on the same level as some of the elite guys. And then you get on a big stage on your home turf against a quarterback who has arrived. And by the way, it's just his first full season because last year when he was a rookie, he got hurt midway through the season. This is his first full year. And he's in the Super Bowl, and he shows up on your home turf, not a neutral site, your home turf. He shows up in La La. He shows up in Hollywood. And he says, the hell with Matthew Stafford. I'm taking over. And does it? Oh, I'm sorry. That's a problem. I'm looking at Matthew Stafford. I ain't looking at Sean McVay.
Stafford would have to have a complete meltdown to put it. Listen, this is a team.
Is it possible
this
he could have a complete meltdown?
Team. No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Jeffrey,
yes, it is. It is possible he could have a meltdow.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, listen.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on. How many interceptions has Joe Burrow thrown? Like 2 fewer than Stafford. Right. 2 fewer, right?
Not
like
pick six.
Okay, exactly. Pick six have been a problem, right? But as the playoffs have begun,
3 fewer.
Yeah, okay, 3 fewer interceptions. Okay, so we're not talking about. I mean, we're splitting hairs here. But at the end of the day, the team of the Rams is, quote, a better team than the Bengals.
I understand that.
So if your coach is walking in, when they played the Patriots, I did not think that. I still thought the Patriots would winning that game because of the Tom Brady over the Jared Goff. Now you're talking about from Stafford to Burrow. You just said they're about even.
But there's a different.
So now coaching
questions.
matters, and you're supposed to be better on both sides of the ball.
I'm not trying to debate that. I know there's pressure on Sean McVay's got to deliver. We're going to be talking about him Monday morning if they lose this game. What I'm saying is coming into the game, when you looking at 2 people, how was Sean McVay? Matthew Stafford is I got my eyes right on him. Yo, I know Burrow's coming. I know Jamar Chase is coming with Higgins and Mixon and the rest of the crew. I'm looking at Stafford. I think Aaron Donald's coming. Yeah. I think Jalen Ramsey's coming. I think Von Miller's coming. I'm looking at Matthew Stafford. What you going to do? You are the key. You. I'm looking at him, not Sean McVay.
Sean McVay is the one who did it in the last Super Bowl, didn't make any halftime adjustments.
I agree.
Didn't make any adjustments.
I agree.
So when you come into this game and you're playing a Cincinnati Bengals team that is known for second half comebacks, I want to see Sean McVay do something.
I feel you on that, but
Okay.
I also know that I've also seen Kimberly Martin say, hey, you know something? They were going against Bill Belichick. Let's put things into perspective,
Oh,
y'all.
I know you're not doing
Let's
that.
put things in perspective,
I know
y'all.
you're not
They
doing
were
that.
going against Bill. I seen you. I seen you. Hey. You going to get, look, hey, you're going against Bill Belichick. I mean, he's the best. We understand he's the GOAT. We understand that. And there's certain things you got to take it to the level of competition. Well, who's Stafford going against? You're going against a virtual rookie. Handle your business.
A rookie.
He's a bad boy. He's a bad boy. I
McVay
love
is
Burrow.
going against his assistant. It ain't, bro. He's going against a guy that came up under
He's
him.
also going against a guy that has monitored everything he does.
Who is
that has
16 and 32 or some
Hold on,
crazy
wait,
number,
wait,
Zach
listen,
Taylor.
listen,
So
I got
how
that.
are we going to, I mean, like the pressure should lie on him showing I'm the better coach with the better team. And this is how I differentiate myself.
When Matthew Stafford was throwing those interceptions over a 7-week span,
Yeah.
did we look at Sean McVay or did we look at Matthew Stafford?
Well, no, because they're arm punts. McVay.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
there's certain things a coach can't do.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Listen, when New England came back from the 25-point
But that's the
deficit,
meltdown
when
thing.
New England came back from its 25-point deficit against
Yes.
Atlanta,
So if that happens-
who did I point the finger at? Even though I didn't like what Kyle Shanahan did as the offensive coordinator,
Yeah.
I pointed the finger at Matt Ryan. You know why? Because you've been in the
he
league
didn't
long
check out
enough.
the
You
play.
could have audibled. You could have checked up.
Here's
You didn't
the
have to
thing,
follow
this
that.
Rams team went all in this season behind Matt Stafford.
Yes.
They believe in Matt Stafford. They're saying
course.
Sean McVay is saying, yeah, like Stafford's the guy. Like
Yeah.
if
Well,
you're
they
gonna
believe in
blame,
Sean McVay.
but if you're gonna say
But
Matt
the question-
Stafford's the issue, like this is the ownership group, this is the front office that believes in this guy.
That's right.
They traded.
This is why he has to show up.
You actually are proving Stephen A's point right here, though. I mean, you look at his past. He's had 8
Good
seasons of 4,000 passing yards or more. He's ranked 12th
Charlie,
on the
don't do this.
all-time
Don't do
passing
this,
list
'cause we're
in
gonna
the
talk
NFL.
about it on the
So, you
podcast
you
next
put him in a
week. Don't talk-
situation
don't do
now where
this.
they're set up for success.
I see what
he
this
should
is.
come away
I see what
with
this
a
is.
Super Bowl,
This
right?
is why I
You trying to
haven't
break
been-
up a happy
this is why-
home, but
this is
no,
why I haven't
no,
been invited
we will not.
on the
Yeah,
Hands and
exactly.
Hearts podcast
No.
because they scared to bring
Listen,
me on.
come
I
on.
see what this is. I've not been received one invite yet, Jefferson. Not one invite.
Oh, you-
I wonder why.
The
I
issue
wonder
is
why.
people like you will point to Matt Stafford and give Sean McVay a pass, and
Yep.
that is what I have an issue with.
We-
That is all.
I'm not going to give Sean McVay give somebody a pass.
Yeah.
Me.
Okay.
Yes.
Me.
All right, well,
What?
All right,
No, I'm not going to give him a
let's see what
pass.
happens, because if McVay does lead the Rams to the promised land, he will edge out your boy Mike Tomlin as the youngest
Yep.
Super Bowl winning coach. So that's something.
Let's
we
see if
pride
he can do
ourselves
it.
on.
He
You
was a
two will
little
see you in
shaky
just
there
a
for a
bit
second, Charlie.
because
You were
we
a
are
little
going to get
shaky,
back to a
but you
little
came
NBA
back to
coming
the
up. Morning to you. Welcome into First Take. Really, you gave us all the introduction we need, but we'll give you a little something else. Charlie
Wait
Arnold,
a
Stephen
minute.
A. Smith.
Wait a minute. I thought I was supposed to be on the show today with my brother, Big Perk. I saw Big Perk, the Santa Perk, the Papa Perk. I mean, damn, with the glasses now.
Which one?
Professor Perk. What's going on?
I like it.
What's going on?
I'm just saying, Stephen A. You know, sometimes the big fella gotta, put his swag together a little bit.
Okay. I mean, they don't look bad. They don't look bad at all.
You know what?
Oh.
We need you, Professor Perk, because we're trying to figure out what happened in LA last night.
God.
We saw some really ugly things go down. Hopefully nothing that ugly happens on Sunday in the Super Bowl, but we got to talk about last night because the meltdown was so real. It really does not get any worse if you're the Lakers, because as it turns out, the Big Three is turning out to be, well, a big bust. And it became even more evident as Russell Westbrook was sent to the bench with 34 seconds left in the third quarter and did not return as the Lakers fell 131-116 to the Bucks. Westbrook had just 10 points on 3 of 11 shooting, 4 turnovers. This was LA's 10th loss in the past 15 games. Moods are dismal, so here's Russ and LeBron after the game.
There's a moment right before the end of the game where you went over to LeBron and AD on the bench, patted LeBron on the head, AD on the shoulder. Seemed like you're trying to pick them up in that moment. Can you kind of take me through what was going
give
on
them
there?
encouragement. Just keep their head up, keep playing. Tough night. And I told them I wish I could help them. unfortunately, I wasn't in the game to be able to help them, and that's why I came here to be able to help them out. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that, for them. But that's not my call. I can be there, as a leader and as a voice of whatever it is that is needed for the team, and that's what I'll do until my number or whatever is called during that time.
They tell us we ain't on their level. I mean, I'd have told you that before the game started.
Okay, the trade deadline is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Clearly, this roster is not working. So, Stephen A., where do the Lakers go from here?
Big Perk. This is bad, my brother. I want to preface my comments by saying that there's been many occasions where people have gotten on Russell Westbrook and, you've said things about him, people have said things about him where he takes it as a knock against his character. Mm-hmm. There is no knocking the character of Russell Westbrook. He's a good brother. He's real and authentic. He's got his heart in the right place, does a lot of things in the community that people don't realize. He's a good dude. He really, really is. And, the truculent personality, his look, his demeanor, forget all that. His heart's in the right place. This is about basketball. The brother looks shot. And I don't need the jib camera. I need this camera. Russell Westbrook looks completely shot. And there was a time just weeks ago, Big Perk, that I said, hell, it wouldn't bother me at all. As a matter of fact, it was on NBA Today last week with Malika and Janae when they just sandwiched me and double-crossed me and beat up on me in a very vicious way. Okay, in a very vicious way. This is what the ladies do to me, Charlie. Molly, she does it all the time. But here's the deal. Bobby Marks pointed out how maybe you trade Russell Westbrook to the Knicks. I don't want him. New York Knicks fans don't want what we're seeing. I want the brother that I saw in Charlotte about 10 days, 12 days ago. I don't want the brother that I saw last night. I don't want the brother that I saw against the New York Knicks. I don't want a brother that shot 4 for 21 from the field over the last 2 games. I don't want the brother that seems to be struggling so miserably. I don't know if I've ever seen a superstar struggle to this degree. I don't want a brother that's turnover prone with 2 or 3 consecutive plays. He's throwing the ball to nobody. It makes no sense whatsoever. And inside the Staples Center, which is now Crypto.com Center or whatever the hell it is, okay, they were literally chanting and screaming at him, don't shoot. Don't shoot.
It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. And when I saw the smirk on his face, there are people that would take that wrong. Don't take that wrong. He's going through it right now because he can't believe he's missing shots like this. And what else can you do? You're laughing it off 1 minute. You might be crying in the background another minute. I don't know. But the bottom line is he looks that bad. That bad. And for him, to me, what made it worse, Perk, was when he went in the post game. And he was talking about, according to the quotes that I read, how he deserves to be out there based on reputation.
Yeah, he said he actually said he doesn't feel like he should have to earn those closing
That is
minutes.
insane.
Yeah.
That is insane. Now that, with all due respect, that's being childish. That's not, it's about what have you done for me lately. Some degree, some reputation, resume, Perk, but you can't play the way you've been playing. Be as ineffective as you have been and sit up there and say, based on your reputation and past exploits, that you just deserve to be out there now. You got to show something to be out there.
Of course.
To feel like you don't have to do that is criminal. He knows better than that. I'm going to leave it at that for now, Perk. Go ahead.
Well, let me say this, and I agree with you 100%. You made a lot of great points, Stephen A., and I knew this bothered you when you text me at midnight while I was traveling on the plane.
I called you first. I called you first, but you were in the air. Yeah.
I knew it was on your heart and on your mind. So here's the thing, right? Let me tell you a story about myself. In my younger days, when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I was a hothead, and I had to go to anger management. And in order to graduate out of anger management, you have to do what? You have to acknowledge that you have a problem.
Absolutely.
And you have to accept responsibility. Now, listening, I say that to say this. Listening to Russell Westbrook post-game interview yesterday.
No accountability.
No accountability whatsoever. And so Russ don't realize, and it's a shame, that not only has he lost the trust of Frank Vogel and the coaching staff, but he's also lost the trust of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So him going to the podium and saying that, hey, man, I wish I could be out there, but it's out of my control. No, it's in your control. It's in your control to go out there and play better. It's in your control to hold yourself accountable. It's in your control to go and watch film session and see how can I limit my turnovers? How can I fit in? How can I not just go out there and hoop and actually play and think the game of basketball right now? And so when I look at it, now what's next? A solution to the problem. And the solution is they're not going to be able to trade Russell Westbrook. That's not going to happen. So what else could you do? And I honestly believe at this point in time that I think it would be best for the Lakers and Russ just to take a minor break from one another. Let Russ get some me time so that he could step away for about a week or two and get himself together.
Let me say this. I don't disagree with you about that part. What I will say to you is this. The stubbornness that you're pointing to, or an unwillingness to admit where you are, for example.
Yep.
Those are the kind of things that people point to when they talk about, that's why it didn't work out with Kevin Durant in Oklahoma City. That's why it didn't work out with James Harden in Houston, okay? And that's why it ain't working out now. But we ain't letting LeBron James off the hook. LeBron James put this together. Every move, because the problem with Rob Pelinka right now, which is why some people believe that Rob Pelinka is the one who needs to be on the hot seat instead of Frank Vogel, is because Rob Pelinka he's nicknamed Mr. Pleaser. You understand? Because he's capitulating to the wishes of LeBron James, Anthony Davis to a lesser degree, but definitely LeBron James. The Lakers do not make a move without going to talk to LeBron James first. Now, LeBron James has earned that. He deserves it. I have no issue with it whatsoever. They are doing exactly what they should do with LeBron James.
Well, what other option do they have right now, even if they were to go to LeBron James?
They're doing it. But LeBron James is the one that signed off on Russell Westbrook. He didn't have to. LeBron knows that Russell Westbrook's success was predicated on athleticism and getting to the basket, not necessarily being a perimeter shooter in today's game, where being a perimeter shooter is very, very paramount when you're playing the guard position. LeBron knew that. LeBron knew that Russell Westbrook was considered relatively turnover prone, even though he was a mercurial talent. LeBron James knew this. LeBron James knows more basketball than any of us. He is a savant, okay? Which means it wasn't about basketball why you okayed that decision. That's your boy. Which is why some people say players shouldn't have the authority to make some of those decisions, because they make it based on emotion and friendships and relationships instead of what your eyes tell you as it pertains to their talent and whether it serves as a complementary piece to what you're bringing to the table. So that's really what's going on in Los Angeles. We cannot let LeBron James off the hook on what is transpiring in L.A. LeBron looks like an MVP when he's balling in terms of his numbers, but in terms of that roster, that's LeBron James' roster. He doesn't get a pass on what we're seeing because he's the one that helped formulate that roster.
But do you think that coming into the season, he thought Russell Westbrook would be the one to take such little accountability? Because even just a few days ago, we can't forget that Westbrook said that he and Vogel haven't had any conversation and enough communication as far as what his role is on the team, which is interesting because your role is to help the team win a championship, and you're not doing that.
I'll let Pert get in here, but I'll say this to you. I'll let this Pert, and then I'll let Pert get in here. LeBron, sure, he didn't think about the accountability. We don't know if Russell Westbrook is not accepting accountability behind the scenes. I'm sure he's talking to LeBron and saying, damn, I got to play better. I got to try to do something for you. He ain't shortchanging nobody with effort, and LeBron knows that. But in the end, we're talking about what your basketball skill set is and what the basketball savant that is LeBron James should have known beforehand. That's what we're saying. Go ahead, Perk.
Yeah, you know, Stephen A., here's the thing. No one knew that Russell Westbrook was going to be this bad, okay? And look, we already knew he struggled from the outside of shooting and things to that nature, but we didn't know that the guy was going to start blowing layups and missing dunks. We didn't know it was going to get to that point. And so when I look at it, it goes back to even last year when I thought that the Lakers should have made a move and got Kyle Lowry at the trade deadline and made that move. I thought he would have been a better fit, but that's neither here nor there. And you're right. LeBron probably deserves some blame, but nobody knew that Russ was going to be this bad.
Well, wait a minute. Bert, one little thing, just so you know, because you know this. They could have had DeMar DeRozan. He wanted to be there. It was an easy deal to get done. LeBron James okayed choosing Russ over DeMar DeRozan.
But it was collectively between LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Yeah, but I'm saying he went to Anthony Davis. He went to Anthony Davis to sell him on that too.
Right.
I'm just saying that. I know AD's in the mix too.
But look, this is my last point. At the end of the day, this big three was formed. And we watched Anthony Davis. You just spoke on this last week. He's elevated his game. Yeah. We watched LeBron James all season elevate his game. And we haven't watched Russell Westbrook yet fulfill his end of the bargain. True. And for him to not hold himself accountable, that is a problem. That is a major problem.
Yeah, and with that loss, the Lakers fall to 26-29 in the season. They're 9th in the West. And, you know, we know the trade deadline is at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Going to be really hard to get any parts moved because their team is really stacked full of maximum and minimum players, which, you know, are tough to deal at this point in time. So, Perk, thank you so much. Professor, we're going to see you in just a bit. A whole lot of you throughout the show. I think it's time for the exclusive reveal of the rosters for the Ruffles All-Star Celebrity Game. And we start off with the Team Neek roster, coached by Dominique Wilkins and our very own Kendrick Perkins. Take a look at this. We have defensive end Myles Garrett. We have Tiffany Haddish, Jack Harlow. Even the Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb is on this team.
You know what? I would not be surprised at all if Tiffany Haddish can ball. I wouldn't be surprised if she could ball. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised.
If nothing else, she'll be intimidating with smack talking on the court.
Well, I wouldn't mess with her.
I would never mess with her.
I wouldn't talk back to her.
Okay, let's move on to the Team Walton roster led by our own Bill Walton and Richard Jefferson. Okay, Quavo. I know he's got some hoop skills. We have Nigel Houston, Matt James, the former Bachelor. I know he has some skills as well. So, I don't know. I like the way the first team is looking as of right now, but
first team does look strong.
RJ has a special message to Perk ahead of this big showdown. Listen.
As I'm sitting around here just enjoying my cup of coffee, I just got handed the list for the celebrity game. Oh, Perk, this is not going to end well for you. I don't know what our side bet is going to be, but this is going to be an absolute joke. First of all, me and Bill Walton are coaching, so I don't know who's going to talk more, me or him. Richard, our team is just so amazing. And we're going against a couple of country boys. You and Dominique, my roster, I'm ready for whatever side bet you want, Perk. Do you hear me? Any side bet that you want, that my team is going to absolutely destroy your team. And you know what? It's going to happen in Cleveland. You know you're excited.
Okay. Hey, Perk, here is my advice. I would take whatever bet that he wants to put on the table because Stephen A and I have both agreed we think you have the stronger roster. So with that, how confident are you, Professor, that your team is going to pull off that dub?
Well, first of all, I cannot get away from Richard Jefferson. I call him A.K.A. Squidward. I call him Squidward. He looked just like Squidward off of SpongeBob. But look, listen, when you think about my roster, it's one guy in particular that I'm going to use like Shaq, and that's Myles Garrett. And RJ don't have one guy on that other team that got an answer for him. He's super athletic. We already know how strong he is. He's a physical specimen. I expect him to finish the game with 30 and 20. I'm going to feed that horse. And we playing in Ohio and Cleveland. I'm not trying to hear what RJ talking about. Stop this man. Stop him.
I got to tell you, first of all, Myles Garrett can play. And as a person that has invaded the celebrity all-star game before, let me give you.
I thought you were supposed to play this year.
You know
You
what?
told me you got your knee scoped to play.
I wasn't even coming to All-Star Weekend, but I probably come because I gotta attend that HBCU basketball game. But also, you know what? Even though my knee is rehabilitated, I still got some work to do in that regard. So maybe it'll be next year. Okay. But here's the deal.
Don't call it a comeback.
Listen, when I was there, I'm the only coach in the history of the game that got a technical foul. Okay. I got a tech. All right. But I was against Michael Wilbon. It was in Chicago, and his whole crew was from Chicago. The NBA collaborated with ESPN to fix the damn game for Michael Wilbon, which I still haven't forgiven Michael Wilbon for. It was fixed, and the fix was in, and I got jerked around. That's what happened. So you got to make sure that the outcome isn't decided before tip-off time, Kendrick Perkins. That's what you got to decide.
I got you. I got you.
Let's do
All right, I like the confidence. You know who we need?
Myles Garrett. That's a reason to be confident. That's a big boy. And he can play ball.
It is a big boy.
He actually can play ball.
I didn't even realize he was a hooper. That's cool. I like that. Speaking of confidence, we're hoping that the Nets can get a little bit of it because forget trying to win the East, guys. The Nets now are just focused on trying to win a game. Last night marked the 9th straight loss for Brooklyn, and it came at the hands of the Celtics. James Harden missing his 3rd consecutive game due to hamstring tightness, and amid speculation that a trade could be brewing to send him to Philly. Now with the entire Big Three MIA, who is to blame for this downward spiral? Here's NBA analyst Brian Windhorst just an hour ago on Get Up.
The issue is, can they settle the issues by 3 o'clock tomorrow? Because from what I am told, Brooklyn's ask is still Ben Simmons and 2 or 3 other pieces, draft picks and players on the Sixers roster. The Sixers don't want to do that. But we are in right now, as far as I can tell, Greeny, we're in the deal zone between Harden and Simmons. I suspect they're going to get it done. I'm not going to tell you for sure they're going to get it done, but it's trending in that direction.
Okay, in the deal zone. So I ask you, Stephen A., what's your reaction to the fact that there could be a trade? You know, a lot of people thought it was just maybe speculating. And also, who would come out on the winning end here?
Let me say this. I've been on the record saying this, and I'll say it again. First thing first, last night I received a text message from somebody, a Big Perk, and they told me to get over my feelings about Daryl Morey. If he were to trade Ben Simmons to Brooklyn, it would be the stupidest thing that he could do. The text message that I got in return was, get over it. It's happening.
Oh.
That's what I was told. I don't believe that to be definitively the case. It could happen. It couldn't happen. I don't know. Here's my thing. Ben Simmons shouldn't be in Brooklyn because he's within the division, and if you got Kyrie and KD, they could win it all, and they could, at the very least, serve as a perpetual roadblock to the Philadelphia 76ers for years to come. That's my belief, which you and I have talked about yesterday and we're about to get into now. My thing is this, though. If you're the Philadelphia 76ers, as turned off as I would be from what I perceive to be just stupidity on a part of the Sixers if they were to do that, I will say this. If you're going to do it, because of what we've seen from Harden this year, bigger, slower, older, primarily because of his hamstring injury, I think that's a strong case, Big Perk, for the Sixers to hold out from giving Ben Simmons to Brooklyn with the other pieces. You should be able to give Ben Simmons and maybe one piece to Brooklyn for James Harden. But Brooklyn, to me, is in no position to make exorbitant demands about this James Harden, because this James Harden, even though I have every confidence he could ultimately be what he was in Houston, is not that guy right now. And I wouldn't give up the farm to get him if I were Philly, Big Perk.
Well, Stephen A., hold on. First of all, you know James Harden tricked us one time. He fooled us when he was in Houston. We thought he was fat and out of shape. And as soon as he landed in Brooklyn, he was a different James Harden, okay?
True.
That's right.
That's the first thing.
True.
Now
Good
you
point.
know I got to get you, okay?
Sure.
Because you was just on record about a week or week and a half ago saying that Philly should be ashamed of themselves for not making a move and wasting Embiid's talent
Correct.
and what he's doing right now. So, with that being said, why not go get James Harden? Why not go get a guy that is capable of playing at an MVP type level? You're not going to find nothing else better than a James Harden right now. So if I'm Philly, I'm going to pursue him. And if I'm James Harden, I want to get there. See, here's the problem that's going on in Brooklyn right now, right? One, nobody can control Kyrie Irving, okay? No one, period, point blank. They don't know what he's going to do. You know this, I know this, KD knows this, Steve Nash knows this, James knows this. This is why he's frustrated. Okay, so we have to look at the situation. James went there to win the championship. James is the only guy out of those three guys that don't have a ring. So he's starving for a championship. So if I'm James, let me go somewhere else where I could team up with another superstar that's also starving for a championship because he has the same agenda, same goal, same thirst, same type of thrive and drive as me, instead of sitting back having to deal with a Kyrie Irving who want to be part-time or we don't know what he want to do, and the KD that's scared to tell him something about it.
Well, listen, first of all, a couple of things. Number one, I don't disagree with any of your points. Don't mind you getting at me at all because you are absolutely right. That's exactly, literally to the letter, the position that I took last week, and I still maintain that because what we didn't do is elaborate extensively as to where I would want him to go. I don't care where he goes. My issue with Philly, if the same Brooklyn Nets team was in the Western Conference, I would feel this way. If the same Brooklyn Nets, it's the fact that they're not only in the East, they're within their division. They are a direct impediment to the success of the Philadelphia 76ers because I think the two places Ben Simmons is ideally made for would be a Golden State where he ain't going or a Brooklyn. I think with Kyrie and KD, if they're both on the court healthy together, I think Ben Simmons is the perfect complementary piece because he's a guy that would have the ball in his hands with playmaking responsibilities, but you don't have to worry about him taking any shots away from KD and Kyrie, which is what Kyrie especially would love. And that's my issue. And so with Philly, I'm saying I understand your point about, okay, they got to go get something for Joel Embiid because that was my position, and it still is. It's just that, damn, you're buffering Brooklyn. And I don't know how much you're buffering yourself because I don't know about the health of James Harden right now.
Oh, Stephen A, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Okay. You watch and you saw Brooklyn role players, right? Outside of Patty Mills, you see the rest of the crew.
Yeah.
And right now, the way that things are about to turn out, Kyrie Irving is not going to be available for home games.
Right.
Do you honestly could sit up here and tell me that you could trust a Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons, just if they was facing the Miami Heat or the Milwaukee Bucks,
they need more than that. Yeah,
to win a playoff game at home against them. No. So my point is that no one is afraid of Ben Simmons. Daryl Morey and them and Doc and them saying we'll give you Ben Simmons because we done saw it firsthand. We saw it up close in person. How in the big moments he folded like clean sheets. So at the end of the day, they're not afraid of him.
How do you know this, Big Perk? How do you know that Ben Simmons hasn't followed your advice about Russell Westbrook? How do you know that Ben Simmons hasn't gone and sought some help psychologically to get off his petrified doldrums that's plaguing him last year?
Has he found the jump shot? Has he found the jump shot?
No. But he was scared. I mean, he was scared to shoot a layup. That's how bad he was. I was at the game. The man passed up layups for crying out loud. He was so damn scared.
So being in a scenario where he doesn't have to shoot would be an ideal situation.
How do we know? We don't know. So we got to pay. I'm just saying. It could be slick. I hope Daryl Morey did his homework.
Oh, this could go one of two ways, but it sounds to me like it could be a winning situation as far as both players are concerned. So we'll see what happens there. Still to come on First Take, Aaron Rodgers' future continues to be a beautiful mystery, but wait until First Take coming your way. 4 days away from Super Bowl 56, Kurt Warner and Deebo Samuel joining the show to break it all down. And fresh off a blowout win over the Lakers, are the Bucks the best in the East? You do not want to miss that debate. But first, on Tuesday's episode of Good Morning Football on NFL Network, Charles Woodson was asked about Aaron Rodgers' future and had some interesting comments saying, quote, if I'm putting on my GM hat, when you say what are we going to do next season, when I'm looking at the roster that we have, you know what? I'm thinking about trading Aaron Rodgers and seeing what I can get for him in return. Okay, the man has spoken. A lot of people have spoken on this subject, including Aaron Rodgers himself. And Louis Riddick joining the show, Jeff Saturday back here with us. So, Louis, let's start with you. Do you think the Packers should consider trading Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I think it's something that's really going to have to be discussed very thoroughly, because when you look at it like this, going forward, look, Aaron Rodgers right now is counting about $46 million on the cap for 2022. He's going to need a long-term extension since 2022 is the last year of the current deal that he's on. And a long-term extension is going to cost them somewhere probably around $45 million a year, $46 million a year. Right now, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is setting the market as far as average dollars per year. So he's going to need an extension in order to get them some kind of cap relief, because right now they have about the second worst cap situation in the NFL. Now, that's just dealing with him if he's to come back. Davante Adams is a free agent. Davante Adams is going to want about $27, $28 million a year on a new deal, and he deserves it. He's the #1 wide receiver in the NFL. You have a guy like Rashawn Gary, who's coming up for free agency in 2022. He's going to want top dollar as a pass rusher. Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith, these guys all make huge dollars right now on an average per year basis and carry big cap numbers for 2022. Rasul Douglas, who came off the street basically and really had a career year for them. He's a free agent. Devondre Campbell's a first-team All-Pro. He's a free agent. So if you want Aaron back, how's the team going to look in 2022 for him? Everyone says, well, you know, you have a short window, small window. You need to capitalize on a franchise quarterback. I get that. But this team may look markedly different if he is back on a huge deal like he deserves. So if you're Green Bay, and as Charles is talking about, you can get a king's ransom for him, get cap relief. I don't know if Jordan Love's the answer right now. None of us know if Jordan Love's the answer. He played one game. So we can't say whether or not he's the answer right now. But if you can get a king's ransom for him, keep the rest of the team intact, and continue. And look, you have to look short-term and long-term when you're a GM. You can't just look short-term. You can't just think about the quarterback. You have to think about the entire roster. That's why I say you definitely have to consider moving on from him, and that's exactly why he structured this contract the way it's structured, so he can force their hand and possibly get on out of here and get somewhere else.
Interesting.
Man, y'all don't know how much I love some Lewis, man. I mean, this dude knotted up. Smart guy, gonna come out here and put all the numbers out in front of me, tell me how nothing can work. They're gonna be a total disaster. We're gonna move on. We're gonna keep all these other guys, all these kinds of things. There ain't no. And listen, Charles Woodson, that's a tip of the cap for his boy Aaron. His boy is like, hey man, I want out of Green Bay. Put it out there on there for him. Let's have these conversations, get this thing rolling, so they can trade me up out of here. The Green Bay Packers, their front office might agree with that. To Lewis's point, all those numbers, that all makes a ton of sense. They're going to have to make some tough decisions. But I can tell you, if Aaron Rodgers ain't there, Davante Adams ain't going to be there. So we ain't got to worry about him either, unless maybe they franchise tag him just to hold on to him against his will, which we know how that turned out with Aaron Rodgers. But if you are any coach on that coaching staff, you are saying, heck no, don't let this man out the door. We know already we're taking 2 or 3 wins off of our sheet, and we probably going to make no noise in the playoffs. I understand this season coming the first seed, all that kind of stuff. They laid an egg in the playoffs. They were also in 3 NFC championship games before this. So let's not mistake how good this football team is. And Lewis knows as well as I know, Aaron Rodgers ain't going to stay in Green Bay just for the money. He's staying there for a Super Bowl victory. So if there has to be some massaging of numbers, he's not quite making as much, whatever that looks like. He knows long-term for his legacy and what he wants as a player to win. He wants Adams to get that cash. So he understands not everybody can get it. He's been around this thing a long enough time. He's made enough money. He gets it. He's kind of in that Tom Brady mentality. Tom Brady can go down to Tampa Bay and crush him. So maybe he doesn't. But if you're Green Bay Packers and you let Aaron Rodgers out that door, you know you are a worse team tomorrow, the next day. You know it. I don't care what anybody else says. Whoever else you sign, whatever else that is, when Aaron Rodgers walks out your door, he's made the next team he's on better, and you are not as good.
They have 3 quarterbacks on their team right now with 1 win between all 3 of them. So
why would you even bring that up?
But
it's Aaron Rodgers. It's Aaron Rodgers,
but I'm
nobody
just
else matters. Nobody else matters. Jordan Love doesn't matter. Nobody has love for Love yet.
No one else matters, but it actually is very bad for them.
Do you have love for Love?
None. I don't have anything for him.
It doesn't matter.
I feel indifferent.
Go ahead. Before I chime in, Mr. Chippendales, who's buttoned up now in L.A.
He is knotted up looking good.
Make your point.
Up good.
Make your point real quick, Lewis. No, I said go ahead because you,
you
had
want me to?
No, I'm going to
want me to
but you said
continue?
you had,
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Let me put my glasses back on so I can see good here. So I can make sure I make this point the way I need to make this point. No, Jeff. You know what? What I'm saying is this. Look, I get the. Aaron he may take less on a new deal going forward in order to accommodate, especially his guy Devontae Adams. But Jeff, we don't know what Devontae wants to do. We hear reports out there Devontae may want to go ahead and play with Derek Carr out here in Las Vegas, out here on the West Coast. Devontae's going to get top dollar. He's going to get top dollar.
He should, yeah.
And you cannot, and if you're him, whether you want to play with Aaron Rodgers or not, you are not at this point in time, considering everything that he has done in his career and the fact that he is someone who has been underpaid relative to what he has produced, there's no way you're just going to take some kind of below market contract just because you want to stay in Green Bay and play with Aaron, who could be on the move at any point in time. So that's what I'm saying. This team is going to look different. Rashawn Gary's got to get his money.
Yeah.
Rashawn Gary has become a top-notch pass rusher. Devondre Campbell settled down this entire defense for them on the second level. He's going to get his money too.
Yeah.
Okay. So and Rasul Douglas is going to get his too.
Let me
so
chime
to
in.
me, I just don't know if the team's going to look the same.
Let me chime in, fellas. First of all, a couple of things that's very, very important to point out. I've never been more jealous of Louis Riddick in my life. He is in California, buttoned up. Everybody know I'm ticked off. I ain't there because as much as I love doing NBA Countdown with the crew, I got weekend shows, so I can't be out there in L.A. I'm hot about that, but that's a different
All he
subject for
wants is
another
be in
day.
LA for
That's a different. I'm going to move to L.A. at some point. I'm tired of this cold weather. I'm just over it. Let me say this. Jeff, Saturday, I got to roll with Louis Riddick on this. And I'm going to tell you why.
Bad man, huh?
Everybody knows how I feel about Aaron Rodgers, the bad man. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying about Aaron Rodgers and what losing him is going to cost you. And I'm going to put it as simple and plain. As two guys that know football inside and out. Isn't the bottom line that over the 10-year period, 4 trips to a conference championship game, not a single appearance in a Super Bowl, let alone a Super Bowl championship, is something I can get with somebody else? Isn't that something I can ask? I'm not saying that that's definitive. Of course not. This is football. But what I'm saying is that when I think about the value that Aaron Rodgers brings to the table, what I could potentially get for him, combine that with the fact that he's expressed an interest in going elsewhere by how he renegotiated his deal. Combine, Jeff, with what you just said. We all know Charles Woodson didn't just throw that out there.
Nah.
That's his boy. You know what I'm saying? We know that's not an accident.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
So all of those things taken into consideration clearly sends the message. Aaron Rodgers has no problem departing from Green Bay. If I'm taking all of that into consideration, and then I look at you, despite your greatness, you go home earlier than some of the elite quarterbacks in the National Football League. That's the reality. I'm looking at it from that perspective. And if I'm a Green Bay franchise and I'm thinking about the future, I'm not saying I'm giving him away. I'm not saying I want him to leave. What I'm saying is I have to consider it based on all of those elements when I don't have a single Super Bowl championship to show for it in 12 years.
Right.
Not even a Super Bowl appearance in 12 years. I got to explore it. I really do.
Well, all options will be explored. You even heard those words from Aaron Rodgers' mouth. And Louis, with that, we have to say goodbye to you. But enjoy LA.
Yes,
have
sir.
an amazing weekend and get some sun for all of us, please. We need it over here. Okay, let's keep it moving. Still to come on First Take. He runs, he catches, he beats the Cowboys, but a show on earth. I think we can call First Take that, right? We are bringing you the greatest show on turf. Kurt Warner here on behalf of TiVo Stream 4K, bringing all your streaming content, including all your favorite live and streaming shows, movies, and sports together in one place. Kurt,
See you, Kurt.
Thanks for being here. How are you doing today?
I am doing well, man. It's great to get this week started and get one step closer to the big game.
Absolutely. And you are the perfect person for the job because really, you're a Hall of Fame quarterback, so we, of course, are going to start with the quarterbacks. You authored, Kurt, one of the greatest Super Bowl stories of all time. So this is a tough question, but which, in your opinion, would be the better story to you? Stafford winning after 12 seasons in Detroit or Burrow in his second season turning around the Bengals squad?
Oh, man, that is a great question because you look at Matthew Stafford and what he's done and to kind of get that change and to move over to the Rams and have a team around him that can equal his talent. In one season to go and win a Super Bowl with all the questions and pressure on him, that would be an unbelievable story. For the Bengals to go where they've been the last 2 years, winning 4 games last year, if they were to win a Super Bowl with all of those questions and their young quarterback, oh my gosh, that's a great question. But I'm going to probably go with Matthew Stafford. Just because of what he's done in this league, but never having this moment in that one kind of magical season. Ironic that you're talking to me. 99 was a magical season for us. Everything came together in one year, to put us on the map and to put me on the map and to win the Super Bowl. So to have things play out as they did for the Rams this year with Matthew Stafford and the move that they made, I'm probably going to lean in that direction. But I think both of them will be pretty special.
Kurt, I want to get specifically into the matchup in this regard. I said that, as talented as the Los Angeles Rams are, we give a lot of respect to the Cincinnati Bengals as well because they really showed their mettle, particularly in these playoffs with their victories over the Raiders, Tennessee, and obviously Kansas City. But I'm looking at Cincinnati as an even tougher opponent from this aspect. They're playing with house money. You got a quarterback, even though he's in his second year, it's his first full season because he got hurt last year. You got a superstar wide receiver, okay? And you're going in as the visitor on the Rams' home turf, SoFi Stadium, L.A., Los Angeles, California. I think they're walking in there playing with house money. Absolutely nothing to lose other than the game, of course, whereas all the pressure is on the Los Angeles Rams. Your thought about that notion?
But no offense, my man, but it's spoken like a person that's never played in a Super Bowl. That when you get to this point,
I stand down.
When you get to this point, there is no house money. It's not like, oh, we can lose this one because we're the underdog and we'll be back because we're young. There's none of that going on, Stephen A.
Okay.
This is a Super Bowl. This is your moment. There are no guarantees that you will ever be here again. So to think that the Bengals and Joe Burrow have no pressure on them just because they're the underdog, I fully disagree with that. They're going to feel the pressure just like Matthew Stafford and company because this is the last show in town. This is the last game you're going to play, and nobody wants to go home not winning this game. So I know it sounds really, really good, but you get to this point, and there's pressure on everybody. Everybody wants to play their best game, and nobody wants to watch the other team with that confetti coming down. And so because of the magnitude of this moment, I believe there's just as much pressure on both sides.
I don't understand for the life of me how Cooper Kupp has looked so sensational, but 145 receptions, over 1,960 receiving yards. OBJ has come into the mix. He's filled in admirably. I'm very, very proud of him, especially with the absence of Robert Woods, who went down earlier this season. I'm just looking at it from that perspective. And I want to know from your perspective as a guy that threw the ball to Bruce, threw the ball to Terry Holt and those boys, when talking about the greatest show on turf, how do you compare this Los Angeles offense to the offense that you were orchestrating?
Well, I mean, our offense, I think, was a little bit different because we had so many weapons and we played spread out all the time, and we were going to force you to cover every blade of grass. I don't necessarily think this Rams team is like that, although they've got, as you mentioned, some great weapons. The amazing thing is OBJ has been so great for them. I went back and watched all of his catches. They really haven't even hit any big passes to OBJ this year, which was really his calling card for so long with the Giants. And so that's kind of amazing, but they fit him in perfectly. And then Cooper Kupp, again, he can make big plays, but I don't think that's really where he makes his money. He makes his money in that, 5 to 15 yard range. So they're a little more methodical in what they do offensively, a little more conventional in that regard, but obviously can be explosive at any moment, starting with their quarterback and the big arm and the big plays. Coach McVay does a great job of dialing up or scheming up huge plays for them. But their guys on the outside are just built a little bit differently than the greatest show on turf and the way that we attacked down the field on every play.
As I look at now and we look at and we just try to handicap what's transpiring with this Super Bowl, what do you think is the key matchup that all of us are not talking enough about as you really crystallize and illuminate this matchup coming up? What are you looking most forward to?
Well, I mean, I know everybody's talking about the Rams' defensive line against Cincinnati's offensive line, which obviously is going to play a huge part. But I tell you what, I'm looking forward to is Matthew Stafford in that offense against the Bengals' third down defense. If you watched them against Kansas City a couple weeks ago in the championship game, all the different looks that they threw at Patrick Mahomes, specifically in the second half on third down. And Matthew Stafford, has been great on third down in the playoffs. And so I think that is going to be a matchup. It's what we call the money down in football. And so who wins the money down, Bengals defense against Rams offense, I think will go a long way in determining who wins this football game, along with some of those other matchups that we talk about a lot. But that's fascinating to me. I don't think the Bengals defense gets enough credit for getting their team to this point. I believe they've been the heroes of this postseason more than Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and the offense has been. But because of who those guys are, the positions they play, we're talking more about their offense. But I want to give a little bit of love to their defense that have played really, really well.
Yeah, and on a side note, a little birdie texts me and let me know that Michael Irvin's actually watching the show. I mean, I want to know this because I know and I appreciate you because I love him. I love him like a brother. And I appreciate how you were there for him. And you and Coach Mooch and my brother Rich Eisen, when the Dallas Cowboys lost a few weeks ago, I know that you had to help him out, help him recover. I want to know, A, how bad was he emotionally when his Cowboys folded? And B, do you think he deserves the title as playmaker anymore, considering how often he has talked about the Cowboys and how wrong he continues to be? I got 25 years in counting, Kurt. I just want to know. And he's going
to rub this in, so watch what you say.
Well, the first thing, Stephen A, is we've gotten really good at consoling Michael. I mean, I've been with him for a decade now, so it happens every year. So we're all prepared for when this moment comes and the Cowboys, don't reach their potential. So that's the first thing is we've gotten really, really good at that. Right. He is definitely emotional every year because that's the amazing thing, Stephen A. He actually believes what he says every year. He's next to us saying it, and we're all going, come on, man. You can't keep saying it. Nobody else believes it. He fully believes it. He is fully invested every year to do this, and so it emotionally does affect him. But I will still definitely give him the playmaker moniker. He definitely deserves that. We talk about it every week. All the records that he continues to own. And, maybe the biggest thing is because the Cowboys haven't been back to the Super Bowl and won. Maybe when they do that, one of these other great weapons that the Cowboys has takes more of that playmaker moniker. But until they do that, I'm gonna keep it with my guy that sits next to me on the desk.
Okay.
Yeah, Stephen A, until they do.
Until they do.
You're right.
Another 20 years. Another 20 years.
Okay, Kurt, so who do you think is going to win on Sunday? Is it the Bengals or the Rams?
Well, you guys know that I can't give this away. I do 8.5 hours on Sunday.
No, he's got
leading up
I'm not giving it away either until Friday.
I can't give away my pick until you come to Sunday. People are waiting on that because I got my team in the Rams and I picked against the Rams in the playoffs at every game up to this point. So everybody's waiting for my picks. I can't give it away until Sunday.
All right. Okay. That's fair. Okay. We got you on that. But Kurt, you did talk about at the top of the show, you have a partnership with TiVo. So you talk to us a little bit more about that and what you're doing with them?
Yeah, definitely. You guys know that streaming has taken over the world, that everybody's watching through streaming now. And my wife is the big streamer in our family, that she's always got TV shows and movies that she wants me to watch. And so in the middle of the season, I don't have a lot of time. So I'm always like, okay, I'll watch something with you. And inevitably, it takes my wife 10 or 15 minutes to figure out which streaming service the show is on. And by that time, I'm kind of bored and I want to go back to watching film. So TiVo has created the TiVo Stream 4K. One device, plug it into your TV, and it will house all of your streaming platforms in one place. You just type in the search, whatever you're looking for. Stephen A, I know you're a big fan of football movies, so you just type in American Underdog right there. Boom, it pulls it up on whatever streaming service, whatever streaming service you need or whatever has it on that platform, it pulls it right up. And because you're a football movie fan, it knows your history. It's a smart device like everything else, so it'll give you recommendations on the best football movies to watch. So it's all housed in one place easy to use. We're kicking off Super Bowl weekend with a little watch party of American Underdog and a live cooking show, so they can go to blog.tivo.com for that. The stream 4K, you can go to Amazon or TiVo.com and buy one of those to make life easier for all of us.
I tell you this.
That's all we want.
Listen. You need to promote a product. You get Kurt Warner. I mean, that man is
thinking
special.
the same thing.
That man is special
you're
right
like
there.
one of the waiters at a restaurant that they just rattle off all their dinner specials without blinking, and I'm like, how did you just do that?
Hey, Kurt Warner, any given Sunday, man, that's the move.
That's right.
That's the move. 6 inches in front of your face.
All right, Kurt, well, we are going to be looking forward to getting your prediction for the game on Sunday. We'll see if the Rams can come away with their second championship. You, of course, led them to getting
Expect
their
a
first.
tweet. Expect a tweet from me, Kurt. You'll see a tweet
All
coming
right,
on the show.
I'll be waiting. I appreciate you guys.
The second Michael Irvin starts stuttering, the second he starts stuttering,
We
you go
can't
see the
wait
tweet.
for that. All right, Kurt, thank you so very much. Take care.
Thank you.